Welcome to Talking Targaryen. This is our finale watch party. We haven't done one of these in a while. As a reminder for how this works, we are now live waiting for the finale of House of the Dragon Season 2 to air in about 53 minutes. So we're going to spend the next 45 to 50 minutes chatting about the season overall, talking about what we hope to see, and just generally getting hyped for the finale. Everybody here that's listening or watching, you should picture this like there's bowls of snacks out, all dragon themed. You can have some dragon tails. I don't know, what other things would you have? Dragon eggs. We're all sitting down. We're all cosplaying.
Scrambled dragon eggs.
Yeah, like the one that Ulf stepped on last
Yeah.
episode.
I
We're
brought.
all-
Now go ahead.
We're all hanging out. We're going to watch the finale together. Adam, go ahead. What were you going to say there?
I brought deviled eggs to a potluck in college once, and people made fun of me like it was some kind of weird snack. But I think deviled eggs is like a go-to like thing to have served out on the table for a large group of people, among other things. It'd be weird if that's the only food you had, but
I didn't even know about them till college, and when I discovered them, they were incredible. So,
Yeah,
those
they're
people
good.
are jerks.
We tend to get very obsessive over food that we like. Like Alun finds out he likes deviled eggs, and then every time you see him, he's like, "Oh, I made some deviled eggs earlier."
yeah.
By the way, I should say, I'm Gil. I'm here with my brother Adam down there,
Yo,
and back by popular demand, Alun.
Yeah, I guess I'll be the Daniel replacement. Just don't treat me how you treat Daniel.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Alun's back by popular demand. Clearly, when our audience wants something, they get it. In unrelated news, Daniel isn't here tonight. So how's this going to work? Like I said, we'll be live for the next 45 to 50 minutes talking about the season, getting hyped for the finale. Then we're going to shut down when the finale comes on. Everybody go watch it. And then you come back for the post-show live stream, the instant take, where we'll give our raw, immediate reactions to the episode, probably about 20 minutes after the episode airs. So tonight's episode is 73 minutes long. So it should finish around 10:13. Then you've got the 5 minutes behind the scene thing. So that's what, 10:18. And then we'll probably go live around 10:40, I'd say. And I promise
Gil's gonna need like 3 bathroom breaks between the episode and going live after.
Oh, I'm so nervous. We haven't done an instant take in, in 2 years we haven't done one.
One of the last instant takes I remember doing was from a hotel lobby in France when I it was like 2 a.m. and I couldn't not be on the Better Call Saul like reaction.
You just reminded me. Gil and I tried to do. We missed a flight, and then we went to a hotel room and we tried to do it there, and we were struggling with the internet. We were going crazy, but we got it.
Well, yeah, we went live. It was at a hotel in Nashville because our flight got canceled. And it was one of the last episodes of Better Call Saul. So at that time, our streams would get upwards of 1,000 concurrent viewers. So imagine 1,000 people watching you and just nothing is working.
I think we also had to go to like a Best Buy or something to find a cable.
Yeah.
We were going crazy.
It was
Good
fun.
times.
It was a lot of fun. So let's talk about House of the Dragon. And Adam, you announced that we were going to be 100% positive in this pre-show because this is all about hype. So we're not going to really focus on complaints. Now, Alun, you weren't there when we took that oath. So if you want to complain about stuff, I know you've probably been chomping at the bit all season.
Every issue I have that I want to say but I can't, I'm gonna text it to Alun and ask him to say it for me.
Oh, by the way, speaking of who said 2 a.m.? Adam, you mentioned that? Shout out to Lieutenant Dirk, because for him, it is 2 a.m. right now. He's in Germany, I believe. And he's like, I can't believe 5 minutes into the stream, I'm already getting doxxed. Speaking of which, the contest is still open. YouTube was kind enough to send us over here at One Take a free small Domino's pizza. And I mean, that's thanks to all you guys, the listeners. So I want to give it back to you. You have until, let's say, 11 p.m. tonight. You send an email to gil@onetake.tv. Subject line pizza in the body. Tell me what you plan on doing with the pizza or to the pizza if you win. And one of you will be selected this evening for that pizza. I might take a bite first, but you can have the rest of it.
At least they'll get a sample of your DNA. From the bite. From the bite.
Yeah.
Adam, this is live, remember. Shataz, shout out to Shataz. He has a question. Did the finale leak or something? Yes, kind of. It wasn't like in previous years, HBO and Showtime have accidentally just put up an episode early and then they quickly take it down. That's not what happened this time. Some people got their hands on it and like filmed it, and they put up clips on TikTok and Twitter and stuff, but not the full episode. I think about half of it. We haven't watched any of those clips. I should say that, by the way. Yeah, we haven't read Fire and Blood. We haven't watched any of the leaked clips. We don't even watch the clips that HBO leaks on their own in a little thing called Next Time On, or as I like to call it, spoiling our own show. Mm-hmm. We don't even watch that.
We don't even like to see thumbnails and descriptions on like Netflix or Max or any of that.
Well,
I wish they had an option to disable it.
Oh, this is a good one. Yeah, Adam.
Game of Thrones really screwed that up one time where after Daenerys's I'm trying to remember now. You basically, I think, like before it was clear that when Daenerys's dragon fell into the ice water, like in the land beyond the wall, when you go on to join the next episode to view the next episode, you see the thumbnail is of a massive ice dragon, and it's like we didn't know that it was an ice dragon yet. I was pretty pissed about
it.
Yeah,
but we knew it would happen.
Yeah, but I
But you don't want to know.
I don't want to know.
No.
I remember the fun Adam of the last season of Better Call Saul, trying to avoid spoilers, and the writers of the show thinking they're being sly and clever, but just spoiling stuff. They'll be like, no, I'm not going to give anything away, but I'll just say, I hope you're not too attached to this character, and that character.
Let's just say X character needs a lawyer like he needs a hole in the head.
It would be disappointing if a certain main character from Breaking Bad didn't show up.
I hope this character likes not moving for eternity and rotting inside of a hole.
Except they would say the name of the character and then expect that they were being subtle.
We should also stop doing this because around that same time is when we learned that people don't like joking about death, even the death of fictional characters.
It's true.
So no more of that. It's all positivity. And actually, I had an idea for how we could bring some positivity. One of the things we've complained about, I think especially me, so that was me. That was bad on me. I kind of looked like I was patting myself on the shoulder, like congratulating myself.
You do that a lot.
Yeah, I was trying to do the flagellation.
Oh, okay.
So
you should do that off camera next time.
Daemon's dreams. I've complained about them. So I thought, what if we go through them and we do the first ever one take? I'm a little nervous because I've never done this before. The first one take tier list.
Oh,
let's do a
nice.
Tier list of Daemon's dreams.
That's cool. What you were nervous about.
Yeah.
We're doing a tier list of his dreams.
Yeah. What were the best Daemon dreams this season?
Wait, what's like? There must be I mean, obviously you're not going to change it now, but what's a tier list app that everyone else uses? This doesn't look like any of those.
Yeah, I know. It was really, I kept trying to find these tier list apps.
Yeah.
And they want you to pay for subscriptions. And then even if you do that, I think you need to find little icons for each thing. So I put this together literally 3 minutes before we hit the live button.
All right, we'll go with your tier list structure. It's fine.
And actually, by the way, the showrunner, I think, in an interview on the official podcast, he was talking about these dreams, and he said,
"Did he give the answer? Did he say which one is S tier?"
Yeah, they did their own tier list. He gave a kind of interesting quote where he compared this to The Shining. They said, Daemon's going to spend the season at the Overlook Hotel, which we'd made that comparison as well, and I think it's kind of a funny thing to think about. Like you think about Daemon. No, go ahead.
No, I'm not supposed to complain. Never mind.
No, that was like a sound of like ecstasy. He loves the
I'll say this. I love when one of my favorite men of action on a show spends an entire season doing nothing.
Inaction.
Wait, so Adam in ecstasy sounds like this? If you're looking for Adam and you hear walk the other way.
Steer clear.
You think about Aemond. He's like my rival, my enemy. Like this is like Jocko. Every morning he wakes up and he thinks of his enemy. And he has no idea that his enemy is just bumbling around a broken castle, like talking to himself. I'm still waiting. My hope for tonight's finale is the reveal that there was never anybody else in that castle. He's been talking to nobody all this time. So what he said though is that in The Shining, this is what the showrunner said. Jack goes to the Overlook Hotel, and it drives him crazy, turns him into a violent maniac. But instead, Daemon goes to the Overlook Hotel, and it's maybe putting him back together. He's discovering morality, maybe changing for the better. Which doesn't that sound a lot more exciting?
Yeah.
Yeah, no axe murdering or anything like that. But going back through these dreams, by the way, well, here, let's go through them. And then one by one, Adam and Alon, you tell me where they go. Which I love. Everybody in the chat, they're saying that they wish they could skip these scenes. And then I'm like, let's dedicate the next half hour to going through them. We'll keep this brief. So dream 1, that's when you see young Rhaenyra. Never thought we'd see that actress again, at least not until Supergirl, which she was cast in. But you see her sewing Jaehaerys' head back on. That's Aegon's head.
That was cool.
Aegon's son.
I'm leaning toward that being an S tier one, to be honest.
What do you think, Adam?
I would say, I mean, it's just it's like recency bias. Like, I don't remember that one as well.
Well, but it's also the context of it being the first thing you saw. Like, that was the first time we saw him. Like, whoa, there's some weird stuff going on here.
Oh, you know what? Okay, I'll say A tier, at least. What I liked was the transition away from the dream back to real life.
I remember you saying that.
Yeah, because they used diegetic sound to do it.
So far it's at 8.5.
Oh, that word diegetic gets said like once every 2 or 3 episodes, and every time it's said, it's done with such pride of like, I know this word.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go A. Oh, because Adam and I both say A, which means the majority rule.
That's fair.
And to me, it's because it was visually striking, so I liked it. But beyond that, there wasn't enough. And that was it. I need more than that.
I mean, I don't really remember every part of it. Anyway, we should hear what the comments say too. Maybe they agree with me. Right?
Yeah,
guys?
Guy Incognito says that the tier order is exactly the same as the order they were aired.
That might be right.
I think that's probably true.
It's just because every time I'm a little less enthusiastic.
Yeah. Well, Dream 2, this was a good one. Remember, he sees Child Rhaenyra again, and she's talking total nonsense. And he's like, stop it! So he cuts her head off. And then her
Don't
head
you wish
falls.
you could do that with Daniel sometimes?
Hold on. Adam, you're out of here. I would kick you out, but I'm afraid I won't be able to figure out how to bring you back in.
We should do a tier list of Adam dreams.
No, that
would be like incomprehensible. You'd all go
get
mad.
Demonetized instantly. And anybody listening, it's like H.P. Lovecraft, where he'd create these monsters where even just looking at them would drive a person permanently into insanity. That's what would happen if Adam even hinted at some of his dreams.
Precisely.
Hey, dream number 2. So he cuts her head off, and then her head's on the ground, and she goes, isn't this what you always wanted? I'm going to go S tier for this one. Because my complaint with these dreams is they're too straightforward. It's just people explaining stuff. Like, Daemon, you always wanted the crown, but really you wanted your brother's love, you idiot. But at least this one was creepy and weird, and yeah, that's it. I don't know. It's something a little more special than the other ones.
Do it.
I was trying to find it so I could watch it real quick.
Dream 2.5. This one he was awake for, so that's why I'm not calling it a full-on dream. This is when... Oh, yeah, so what I wanted to mention, by the way, after the first dream where he sees Rhaenyra sewing Jaehaerys' head on, he wakes up and he sees Alice Rivers, the weird lady, and she goes, you're going to die here. Remember that?
Oh.
I highlighted that because there are some little things that were dropped in this season that haven't paid off yet, and that's one of them. So this finale, is Daemon going to die? Another one would be Aemond sent for Otto. Remember, he wants Otto back. Where is he? Everyone's teleporting all over the place. Otto's taking his sweet time.
If Daemon dies this episode, that'll be a very disappointing season for him.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with that. So dream 2.5. He takes Alice's sleep potion. He's at dinner, and for a second, he sees Lena. Alon, that's his wife, who died
put
by
the
dragon.
horse.
What's
Oh,
that?
wait. Oh, okay. Yeah, I remember.
I'm going to give this a D because it's not even a dream. He was awake.
D for not a dream.
Yeah.
That's right. How about the one where he's following what looks like is Aemond, and then the guy turns around and it's actually Daemon dressed like Aemond with the eye patch and everything.
In retrospect, it was probably alluding to a harebrained scheme he had to pretend to be Aemond in order to infiltrate King's Landing.
I guess he hasn't heard what happened with the two Erics. That happened while he was gone, I think. I forget, but if he knew about that, he would say, even if you look exactly like the person, it doesn't work. But now he's going to throw on an eye. If this episode has Daemon throwing on an eye patch and then walking to King's Landing, I'm Aemond. I mean, I wouldn't put it past. Oh wait, no complaining. But there is a loophole where you can sort of frame it as a compliment. This show is really good at having contrived, sneaky castle scenes. So I think we're due for another one. It's been a while. So he sees himself as Aemond. Adam, I'll let you pick this one anywhere you want it.
C is fine. Yeah, just C.
Yeah,
Because I liked the. They did a good job with like the posture of the actor. I guess it was Matt Smith playing Aemond, but remember I specifically remarked that he walked just like him.
He had the perfect gait.
Yeah,
that was Aemond's gait.
Yeah, through and through.
All right, this one
S tier.
Oh,
No
S tier.
question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
needs no explanation.
Well, it's a little dark. Read it out loud so the people here can see what it says.
Dream 4, Daemon and his mom.
Then mouth open emoji.
Yeah.
All right, Dream 5. This is where he sees Viserys. On the
Seeing
throne.
him was cool.
I was so happy to see that actor back, Paddy Considine. And he's yelling at Daemon, air for a day? Did you really say it? And Daemon's like, you can't possibly still be mad about that. I say A tier. I say A tier for this
A
one.
tier, yeah.
Great to see the actor back in a pretty funny moment in an otherwise dreary setting. Dream 6. Viserys. D.
And I'll tell you why. And
Okay.
this is something I didn't get a chance to bring it up on the last episode. But in the last episode, I think we saw at least 3, if not 4, strong men crying. And I was like, it's a little much. I don't need to keep seeing this.
It's good to see, Maybe we should all
Have a nice cry.
have a little
have
cry.
a nice cry. We're 3 strong men.
It just seems
We
like
should
a
be
lazy.
knocked down a peg.
It feels like I'm a writer. I want to show emotion. Okay, the character has to cry.
Right.
It's the only way.
It's the same kind of thinking that leads to the only thing of consequence that can happen in a character's story is that they die.
Exactly.
Are they going to live or die? Like that's the most interesting stakes I can come up with.
Like,
Which is-
this patient is experiencing this character is experiencing a negative emotion. Let's watch them cry now.
Yeah, okay, so we can go with that. D. Even though I did like this one actually because you got to see
Well, okay, you can meet in the middle. What would you have given it?
See,
Because you wanted to see his like messed up face, right? That's what you liked.
I liked seeing Aemond show some emotion. Sorry, not Aemond. Daemon. The way he was trying to comfort Viserys. That was pretty cathartic to see because he never really got to do that in real life. So he finally got to apologize for not being there when Viserys lost his wife. And instead of being there for him, he was doing the whole heir for a day thing, reveling in the fact that he now is the uncontested heir. So I'll bump it up to a C. Okay, and then finally, Dream 7. Viserys saying to Daemon, you wanted the crown so bad, but having the crown, it crushes you, crushes all who wear it. Do you want it still? Which is a subtle way of saying, I think Daemon is wondering if he really still wants the crown or not. Adam, I'll give you the final word. Where do you place this one?
B.
But yeah, right down the middle.
It's
Exactly.
because the only one left. He felt weird leaving one of them blank.
All right, there we go. We have our tier list. This is the official tier list. It's been submitted into the archives. Adam, any final thoughts on Daemon's Dreams?
I was an early defender of them. And I'll leave the rest of the sentence unstated.
What about you, Alon? You haven't been around all season. Any final word on Daemon's time at Harrenhal?
I mean, I pretty much agree with you guys. It got a little, monotonous.
Yeah.
I think so. I don't know as much of the lore as probably Adam does, but it seems like Harrenhal is a spooky place with ghosts and all this cool, like
Yeah,
weird
weirwood
stuff.
trees everywhere.
I think it would have been like, instead of everything, all the weird stuff just being dreams. Like if we saw something like a variation, some other haunted house type thing, I don't know. It's just
a-
a general comment there.
A dancing skeleton.
Shadow.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, I do feel like, I mean, this is a lot of stuff we've said already, but I think that this environment allows for so much creativity. And I feel like we did not reach anywhere close to the peak of creativity or the spookiness or the sort of things you could. There's a lot of potential I don't think we saw. I think part of that's because they do want it to be left ambiguous how much of this is truly supernatural, how much of it is just dreams that are going on. So I think they held back a bit, but that's what we ended
So,
up with.
in terms of like what comes next, do you think? I guess last episode, Daemon essentially secured the loyalty of the River Lords. So things are, and we haven't seen Cole in a little while. So I think we're shaping up to have like that final showdown.
Yeah, I mean, usually Game of Thrones follows the template of the big thing happens in the second to last episode of the season. And then in the final episode, it's sort of like a come down, like epilogue sort of thing. But this feels more like we're leading toward potentially a battle or something. Because, yeah, Daemon just secured that army.
Yeah.
It's been a couple of episodes now since, what's the kid's name? Since Luke met with the I'll find another, the phrase,
Oh, yeah.
and secured passage for the Greybeards. So remember, episode 1, the opening scene was him getting Kragan Stark to promise 2,000 soldiers. And it's just taken them forever to get here. But getting that passage from the phrase means they should get here sooner. So you got that army coming. You've got Daemon potentially coming with an army. So potentially we'll see some collision in this finale. By the way, one thing I did in preparation for this stream is I started recapping the entire season, character by character. I always try to do that for one of these streams, and then even if we try to follow it, we don't come anywhere close to getting all the way through. But I only managed to get through the green character, or the characters on the black side. So for the greens,
That's still a lot.
still impressive. We can go through some of it. But for the greens, I just took a synopsis for every episode, fed it into ChatGPT, and then I told it to give me a bulleted list of what each character went through. The problem is, yeah, go ahead.
It would be funnier if you used like the early version of ChatGPT where it just starts making stuff up.
Well, okay, so I have it character by character, right? So let's just check Aegon. So here are the key events for Aegon, episode 1. The first bullet ChatGPT gave me is engaged in an affair with Sir Kristen Cole. But then it does get some things right.
That probably would have
Humiliates-
boosted the ratings for the show.
True. Humiliates Sir Tywin Lannister during a small council meeting. True.
True. Like give him
Attempts to show
a
benevolence.
horsey back ride.
Yeah, that's right. Attempts to show benevolence toward the small folk, guided by Otto. True. But the first one, totally made up. By the way, this is just like totally random, but I highlighted, going through that recap, I highlighted little things that came up a few episodes ago where we're waiting for the payoff that we haven't seen yet. So one of them was back in episode 5. Rhaenyra sent Sir Alfred Broom to Harrenhal to see what's going on with Daemon. Like, finally, it's like, what is he doing over there? And she wants to know if she can still trust him, if he's on her side, or if he's going to try for the crown. And we haven't heard about that since episode 5. So I feel like that could be coming this episode too.
I mean, something has to happen there. I totally forgot about that.
Yeah. But who's been your favorite character to watch this season?
Larys.
In terms of Larys?
Yeah.
Explain.
Because he's the smartest one. One of my favorite things about Game of Thrones early on was the scheming and it was like watching smart people, some of whom were some smart people playing chess on this kind of unlimited board. And I don't think there's anyone on this show who's at the caliber of like a Tywin Lannister, or a Varys or a Littlefinger, but Larys is kind of the closest we have.
Yeah, and I feel like he was sort of floundering a bit at the beginning of the season because it's sort of like, who do I attach myself to? Of course, he tried Aegon, and then you could tell Aegon was. It seemed like he was making some progress there, and then Aemon takes over, and he tried that. That wasn't working. But now it's like buy low, sell high. So he's buying low with Aegon while he's at his lowest point.
Right,
And
he can
Larys is offering a
rebuild
helping
him in,
hand.
in his image. Like if he can save Aegon from this pit that he's trapped in, and he's building up common cause because now, kind of a similar theme that we saw in Game of Thrones, an appeal Tyrion used to Jon Snow when, kind of, I don't remember the exact motives, but the point is they use this common connection of like, we now in the eyes of like traditional Westerosi power, like there's something wrong with us. Like you're never gonna really walk normally again, and you have all these disfigurements and stuff. And that's something Larys is using in his favor with him.
And I think, oh, I'm about to say something.
I was just gonna say who I liked in the season, unless you could finish.
Well, yeah, let me
your point.
comment.
Yeah.
So one thing, Adam, as you were describing that, it made me think of Mysaria because I feel like her and Larys are serving similar roles on either side of this war. But I find the Larys scene so much more interesting to watch. Sorry, Lieutenant Dirk. Literally, as I started to say that, he's like, Mysaria is my favorite by far. I think the reason why I find Larys more interesting to watch is because you see him have to struggle and maneuver his way through this.
Yes.
Like you see him try to approach Aemond. It doesn't work. Where's he going to go from there? And then he goes to Aegon. And it's just more interesting to watch him navigate these obstacles versus Mysaria. She's probably struggled more than any other character on this show. But all those struggles happened before we met her. So we only hear about them via monologue. Otherwise, everything she wants to do, she just does it. No
Every
problem.
suggestion that she's had for Rhaenyra has been implemented in its entirety.
Yeah, so I made a list here.
With no argument.
Episode 1, she connects Daemon to Blood and Cheese so they can kill Aegon's son. Episode 2, she saves Rhaenyra from the bad Eric, which gets her, I mean, not really the bad Eric, but the other Eric, which gets her added to the court. And then she finds a way for Rhaenyra to meet with Alicent somewhere and try and sue for peace. Episode 4, actually, all she does is lurk. You just see her standing in the background watching the council meeting. Episode 5, she starts the discontent process in King's Landing. Episode 6, she sends all the food to win the people's favor for Rhaenyra. And then last episode, she finds all the Targaryen bastards.
Like,
okay,
you know what
Lieutenant
would've been-
Dirk, by the way, he clarified that he was being sarcastic. I wanted to say that, but I didn't want it to be insulting. Like, what you said, I have to assume you weren't serious.
You know what? Like, it takes a lot of. Rhaenyra could be closing out this season with us thinking that she's a political genius and like really competent and effective, but instead we see her kind of disappear every time there's a problem, and then reappear after privately speaking with Mysaria and then getting a nice plan handed to her. So we don't get the kind of like growth and being given this feeling of like forward momentum in character development that we could have for Rhaenyra, because instead it was kind of cheaply handed to her.
Yeah, and I think, you bring up a good point, which is that a lot of the major decisions, at least off the top of my mind, weren't really Rhaenyra's. Like, even the initial idea to go find other dragon riders, ironically, that came from Jace a few episodes ago.
Oh, yeah.
But when he suggested it, he wanted to go find nobles who just happened to marry into other families, so they no longer held the Targaryen name.
And he probably would have had them go in one by one. You know?
Yeah.
One of my
Or like
favorite
let the dragon like sniff something they wore. Get like a really early. Yeah.
Oh yeah, one of my favorite interactions that we've seen like 5 times this season is Rhaenyra keeps insisting on riding into battle, and Jace being like, "You can't. You're the queen. You cannot go into battle and just get yourself killed," which you would have because Rhaenys tried to go into battle instead of you, and it got her killed.
And
she
she's
has
far
more experience.
Yeah.
So that
Exactly.
definitely
Like
would have killed Rhaenyra.
Rhaenyra has, as far as we know, Rhaenyra has never been in a dragon battle.
Yeah, yeah. But someone does, Steffi L brings up the point. Rhaenyra trusts Mysaria way too much.
Yeah.
Gives me bad vibes.
Me too, but I don't actually think Mysaria is gearing up to betray her. I think we're just supposed to accept that she's trustworthy.
Yeah, it does. So I do think Rhaenyra has a flaw, which is that she is being too trusting, not just of Mysaria, but also of Adam, Hugh, and Ulf. And Jace brings up that point. He brings up a lot of points. He's appealing from the point of from an emotional standpoint because he feels like he's being made less special by the fact that now all these other people are going to be able to ride dragons.
Right.
He's a bastard, but he stands out because he can ride a dragon. He's no longer special for that reason. But one of the things he points out is that Rhaenyra is being very trusting that these people are going to have some nobility,
Yeah.
have some integrity and fealty toward her.
I find it somewhat plausible from the standpoint of Rhaenyra is very desperate, but they didn't like show us the desperation enough to like make it feel believable. But that is how I make sense of it.
I feel like we see it. I mean, we've seen so much frustration of what do I do? How do I take a step forward in this battle? We don't have enough dragons. So I did feel the desperation. I will say if Mysaria does betray her for some reason, I mean, I'll find that interesting. It would definitely, if it's executed properly, it might raise Mysaria's standing for me. But
Yeah.
so far, I just don't see that coming. Well, Alon, you had a favorite character to watch.
I don't know if favorite, but I've just been thinking about it. I feel like something really cool or interesting is going to happen with him, Kristen Cole. Because one thing I thought, like, he seemed like this just like wuss that'll just do whatever these ladies tell him to do, And it was cool to see him on the battlefield and start taking charge. Like, he seems like in that world, he actually has power and is making his own decisions. And I think now he's hand of the king. And once, what's his face? Otto comes back, it's going to be really interesting to see how he interacts with him. I think they're going to not be too happy,
Yeah.
with the conflicting role there.
They have very different approaches.
Yeah, I think Cole and Aegon are both interesting to me right now in similar ways, which is they are characters who it's hard to imagine what will cause them to grow and become better people, become stronger. And both of them have now had traumatizing experiences that will change them in ways we haven't fully appreciated yet. Cole, he was very comfortable as an on-the-ground battle leader. And now he sees what dragons do to war. It makes people like him irrelevant. Aegon, he got burned by his brother and is barely alive right now. So I'm just so interested to see where those two characters go. Oh, yeah, and it's speaking of a couple people in the chat pointed this out, but Rhaenyra, yeah, Cole is her hand, and Corlys is her hand. And I can't even think of the last time they interacted. Yeah. I think Mysaria has essentially taken on that role for her, sort of informally. But I feel like, I don't know, I'd like to see her and Corlys have a conversation tonight. Let me ask you this. So these are characters we enjoy watching, that we're intrigued by. But if you had to pick one character from either side to be on your side of a war, who would you want standing next to you? Who would you make your hand if you were going into battle?
Now, does this build trust into it? Like, I assume the person is trustworthy if I pick them for my team, or could they, screw me over?
That's a good question.
Yeah,
because I would have said Aemond.
Same. Yeah.
They can't. I would put it this way: they came in for a job interview. They didn't say a word. They just took out a DVD box set and smacked it on the table and then walked out. And then you watch all their scenes.
A DVD box set of House of the Dragon.
Yeah.
I would probably pick Otto Hightower, knowing he'll help me in the short term and just slowly poison me in the long term.
Which is that's a reference to last season. This was never stated explicitly, but we and a lot of other fans have theorized that the Maesters who were taking care of Viserys were actually slowly poisoning him all season. And that's why you watched him just disintegrate over time. Part of why we think that is because the Maesters come from Old Town, which is the domain of the Hightowers. So Otto could be in cahoots with the Maesters and wanted to take out Viserys. So his own grandson, Aegon, could take over the throne. So, so what's your answer though? So who would be at your side? I guess you said Otto.
For me, it's Otto.
Because he'll slowly poison you versus Aemond, who might just burn you alive.
Yeah, like in this world, you have to have a short time horizon of just like, how do I survive the next week? If the cost of doing that is knowing you'll slowly decay, like literally, that's still better than most of the other options.
I don't know.
And you're doing that already. You're doing that anyway already, Adam.
Yeah, that's true.
Like now you just also get to be king.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like Otto is the easy answer. I wanted to say, you know what? I think you can't choose Otto because he has just clearly been the best hand. And we've actually seen him perform the role. So you got to pick somebody else.
Missaria, because she has like magic, like plot immunity.
That's cheating. That's like saying it's basically using Game Genie or Game Shark.
Or like, I'm going to wish for more wishes. Because with her, you can just say, man, I really wish I had X. And then she's like, that is impossible.
That
was a bad impression. Yeah, I know, but my impression the last time was better. Or how about this? No, you know what? I'm not going to
do it.
She'd be like, but wait, maybe there is a way. That was a little
okay, yeah.
A little better.
Slightly better. You know what? At least it doesn't sound like any particular real life accent. Then I'd be in trouble.
All right, next topic.
Do you remember when we first started this season? One of the things we talked about being interested in seeing is the children characters growing up into full-fledged characters. Partly because there is just nobody to root for. You pick a character, I'll tell you why I hate them. Everyone loves Rhaenys. She's the best. Need I remind you, beast beneath the boards, that you're escaping from this dragon pit. The only way to do it is to burst through the floors, through a crowd of innocent people that have nothing to do with this. I guarantee you some of those people died or were at least horribly injured.
Man, they're small folk.
Yeah, the small folk.
Yeah.
Which I think we can all agree. I mean, that's the answer. Who's the MVP of the season? It's clearly the small folk.
The little people.
Yeah. But one thing we talked about is the children, they haven't done horrible things yet. I mean, some of them have. But Jace has been largely uncorrupted. Baela, Rhaena, none of them have done horrible things yet. But I would say overall, let's talk about Jace specifically. He has not done a whole lot this season. And one thing I thought was odd is Luke's death is kind of his fault because the way it happened is that Rhaenyra was going to send ravens to potential allies, to the Starks, a couple other people to basically make sure, hey, you pledged fealty to me. I just want to make sure our alliance is still here. And when we go to war, you're going to fight by my side.
You know that fealty you got? You better give it over.
Smell that?
Fealty?
But then Jace was the one who said, wait a minute, you know what's better than ravens? Children on the backs of dragons. Send me and Luke. So Jace and Luke flew off. Jace came back. Luke didn't. So I would think that Jace would feel some responsibility in that. And I was ready to watch some character development, some complexity, where he feels guilty over essentially getting his brother killed and that being in the mix of his motivations. But I don't think we really saw any of that. There was one scene where he talks to Baela or Rhaena, and he's like, I feel sad about Luke. Kind of similar to Aemond. He's like, I do feel bad about all that business with Luke.
Jace kind of forgot that it was his idea.
Otherwise, what have we seen? He's been complaining a lot about not being allowed to do stuff. And then he did do one thing, right? He went behind Rhaenyra's back to the Freys and secured the passageway for the Greybeards. And then he suggested, that they go and find Targaryens nobles that can ride dragons. So I guess it's not a complaint because I'm not allowed to. I'll just say. I don't know what else, guys. What are you? We did a lot of talking about what's happened so far, but the episode's going to air in 14 minutes. I know we can just check Fire and Blood and find out what's going to happen.
No, I can't believe how long we. Okay, actually, you know what? You have a history of having been exposed to spoilers, but done a very good job pretending you haven't,
That's
and
true.
then revealing it to me at the very end of the series. I'm not going to push you on that, but I'll say I personally can't believe that I actually don't know what's going to happen.
The one spoiler, I alluded to this earlier in the season. The one spoiler I was exposed to is that Team Black wins. No, just kidding. The one spoiler, this is something that already happened, so now I can reveal it. But I heard that Adam was going to claim a dragon. Though, to be honest, it was also...
It was like pretty obvious.
Yeah, because there's one scene earlier in the season where you just see Adam standing there and sea smoke flies over him and Adam looks up and notices the dragon. Now, personally, if I were just watching this show as a casual fan, I probably would have missed it completely. But now that we rewatch every episode multiple times, I recap literally every scene of the show. Once you see that and you sit there and you say, what could this mean? The conclusion would be, oh, he's probably going to ride a dragon at some point. Especially since at that point we already knew he was related to Laenor, whose dragon that originally belonged to. Hey, Adam, so what are you excited to see? What are you hoping to see in tonight's episode?
Well, I think today we probably have to see a clash over the Riverlands, essentially. That like a lot of the chess pieces and tactics of the season have been building up around that region. And yeah, I don't see how they can get through this episode without that finally building up into a cool battle.
Yeah,
So
we've seen plenty of dragon fights. Let's go back to some good old fashioned Game of Thrones early season battle.
I want to see one head get cut off. Doesn't have to be of any characters we
Well,
know.
you already
even
saw
if it's
one. It was in a dream, though.
No, this episode. I want to see a decapitation.
Oh, okay.
It doesn't have to be of a main character. It could just be of a random soldier on the field. But
And I want to see the head roll. I'm sick of this, like, Daemon cuts off his head, but we're on Daemon's face instead of that guy's face. That's what I want to see. Because I want to see, you all know about lucid decapitation. Like, brain neurons.
all those old experiments from the French Revolution.
Because you think about it, the neurons in your brain, it's not like the biology in your skull happens faster than the speed of light. So after you cut off someone's head, they must still be alive for some amount of time, whether it's 1 second, half a second, or 0.001 seconds. But I want to see if it's true. So
Think
next
about
time,
this.
yeah,
No, go ahead. Yeah, you're gonna
that's
watch.
why I
yeah.
need them to focus on the head next time, so I can go frame by frame and see if it's
See if
still
it
moving.
blinks. See if it blinks.
Yeah,
Think about this though. The second you stand up too fast, you basically like you feel like you're gonna lose consciousness completely. And that's just from a minor reduction in the blood pressure to your brain. Imagine what it feels like to actually have your body removed.
minor correction. You said feels like you're going to lose consciousness.
Yeah, you do.
It did happen to me years ago. It was during winter break from school, so I had all the time I wanted to do whatever I wanted. And so I think I was playing Civilization. I played for hours, didn't get up from the chair. So after like 4 hours of playing, I stood up, started walking, and then I just woke up on the ground. And my nose really hurt.
Oh, Jesus. Should we kind of cover some of these nice comments from the audience before we go?
Sure. Omar says more dream sequences. That's what he's looking for. Go ahead, Adam. Shout some stuff out.
All right,
You wanted it so bad.
We have Game
Wait,
Jam
sorry. I
Plus.
have to be nice to Adam. I forgot.
Thank you. Sending hugs from Brazil. He's on Team Black, even though the Brazilian flag is mostly green, which I find suspicious. What I will say is I read an interesting fact recently. I think Brazil might be the only flag in the entire world that does not contain the color red for any nation.
Interesting.
There you go.
Wait,
Yeah.
hold on. Say it again.
Brazil is the only national flag that does not contain the color red.
That is not true. Wait, unless does national
Guys,
flag
is this
mean
what we
something
want to
that-
go out on? This is how
Flag
we
of a
want to end?
country. Oh wait, yeah, you're right, Alon. Never mind.
Yeah,
Okay, I can already. No. There's something special about Brazil. There's some flag that.
Not true, man.
All right, that's not a true fact, but there's something about the Brazilian flag that makes it unique. I just forget exactly what it is. There's some color on it. It's the only one that doesn't have that color.
That is very wrong.
Yeah, no, I know it is very wrong. Obviously, the second I thought about it, I realized it was wrong.
Well, I think to be fair, the way you phrased it is, I think you said it's one of the only,
Yeah.
which by definition has to be right. But I'm glad this is what we're landing on. We got 8 minutes left until the episode.
Oh,
And-
sorry. Okay, correction.
Consolation.
I was wrong in every possible way. There's one flag in the world that does not contain the color red, white, or blue.
Okay.
One of those three, it's Jamaica. It's
That
only
sounds
green,
better.
red, and black.
That sounds
So
more accurate.
Brazil has blue in it, and so that's why it can, and it has white. But the Brazil flag reminded me of the Jamaicas
if-
because of how much green is in there.
If I'm losing interest, I can only imagine what's happening to the folks
All right,
at home.
But the last thing I said is true. The Jamaica fact is true, so you can share that with
The
others.
MVP of the season, I got to say, Lord Bartimus. All right. And
What's
over
that?
cookie-
Is that the
and
kid, Grover's kid?
And that's the way the cookie crumbles. No, Bartimus is the one that Rhaenyra smacked. Because he was mad at
Okay,
her.
yeah. After the small council.
Because he was totally out of line, being angry at her for killing Sir Stefan Darkland, sticking him in front of that dragon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, we will be back here. Gil, tell them.
Yeah, all right. I think we've only got a few minutes left, so here's the deal.
All right, Gil, tell them.
In 6.5 minutes, House of the Dragon Season 2, the finale will air. We're going to go offline in a couple minutes here so you can all go and watch the finale. Then around 10:30 or 10:40, by that point, the episode's aired. You guys have all watched it. We're going to go live again and give our immediate thoughts, our immediate reaction to the episode. So, okay, the TLDR. House of the Dragon's about to come on. It's going to be over around 10:15. About 15 to 20 minutes after that, we're going to go live again. and talk about
TLDR
it.
wasn't that much.
I know.
It's a different link. Just go to the channel, go to the live tab.
I'll say,
Don't
if
just keep
you-
this tab open,
If you can't find this stream that I'm describing right now, maybe it's not for you.
Yeah.
If you can't find that stream, you know what? Insulting our own audience.
On
I'm
our
not gonna
first
do it.
live stream, we put up a piece of paper in front of the camera that said, "Be back in an hour."
Oh,
'Cause
yeah.
We're still figuring out the technology.
All right, well, yeah, let's wrap it up there. I will, just to make it super easy for everyone, in the description and in a pinned comment, I'll put a link to our after show live stream.
You guys will be
And I'll-
fine.
Yeah, I'll see you all there around 10:40. Just keep an eye out. Adam, I'll give you the final word.
I'm Adam.
I'm Gil.
So you're giving Adam the final word.
Dracarys.
Karis.
Garis.
Gubernatorial.
I knew you were going to say that.